NASA's Perseverance rover has successfully touched down on the surface of Mars after surviving a blazing 7-minute plunge through the Martian atmosphere. The rover's clean landing sets the stage for a years-long journey to scour the red planet's Jezero crater for ancient signs of life. The landing team of roughly 30 engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California jumped from their seats and cheered at the confirmation. Moments after touching down, Perseverance beamed back its first image from one of its 19 cameras. Perseverance hit Mars' atmosphere on time at 3:48 p.m. Eastern Time at speeds of about 12,100 miles per hour, diving toward the surface in an infamously challenging sequence engineers call the 7 minutes of terror. With an 11-minute comms delay between Mars and Earth, the spacecraft had to carry out its 7-minute plunge all by itself with a wickedly complex set of pre-programmed instructions. Enduring blazing heat, the rover was shielded by a protective shell and parachute to help slow itself down. A descent stage with 6 rocket thrusters fired as it neared the surface, slowing Perseverance to a much calmer 2 miles per hour. Clutching the rover, the descent stage hovered 66 feet above the surface to execute a ski-crane maneuver, where it gently lowered Perseverance on a set of cables the rest of the way to the surface. With its 6 wheels planted on the surface, the rover snipped the ski-crane cables, prompting the rocket-powered descent stage to move itself far away from Perseverance. The on-time landing at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time marks NASA's 6th successful landing on the red planet. The $2.7 billion rover is essentially a 2,263-pound laboratory on wheels. For the next several years, Perseverance will traverse Mars' Jezero crater to collect soil samples for a future retrieval mission, analyze the makeup of Martian rocks with a laser beaming camera system, and deploy a helicopter named Ingenuity, a 4-foot-on-wide rotorcraft that will demonstrate the first powered flight on another planet. Spirits were high during a post-landing press conference. Thomas Zurbuchen, NASA's top science official, was elated and began his remarks on Perseverance's landing victory by holding up a printout of the mission's contingency plan, a blueprint for the team in case the mission goes awry, and ripping it in half. "Here's for the contingency plan," he said before tearing the paper apart and tossing it behind him, sparking applause in the JPL auditorium. The SUV-sized rover has traveled 293 million miles since launching last summer atop an Atlas V rocket from United Launch Alliance. It launched during a slim window of time as Earth and Mars closely aligned in their orbits around the Sun. That alignment only comes once every 2 years, and NASA launched its rover around the same time as China and UAE, whose Martian spacecraft also reached the planet earlier this month. China's Tianwen-1 probe, which arrived in Martian orbit on February 10, will deploy a lander and rover in the coming months, joining Perseverance just over 1,000 miles away on Mars' surface. Perseverance's journey through space was even more uneventful than expected. Toward the end of its 7-month journey, Perseverance's cruise stage carried out fewer orbital correction maneuvers than originally planned, in part due to an ultra-precise insertion on its Mars trajectory when it launched. The Jezero crater posed the most challenging landing site NASA has faced. Perseverance had to steer clear of the crater's steep cliffs, massive boulders, and dangerously sandy pits to reach its landing spot. Scientists believe the 28-mile wide hole was a river delta some 3.5 billion years ago, potentially a gold mine for fossilized microorganisms. Its mix of different rock formations offers researchers a smorgasbord of potential samples to collect during its mission.